All right, is it good now? I Someone drew my attention to something. Thank you. Yes. Okay. See why I like an active class. So that you won't. I did not come here to teach myself or talk to myself. Thank you. And yes, like we were saying, the foundation of every house is the most important part. Likewise, the foundation of every body, which is nutrition. Nutrition is your foundation. Nutrition is your foundation. So, like I said, the foundation of every child's health starts on the dining table. It starts every day on the dining table. It does not start from the therapy session. It does not start from the supplements. It does not start even in the school learning. It starts from the dining table because you are what you eat. We take food here as medicine. It starts daily on the dining table. So because when developing a building, no matter how it is, you put the roof, you put everything, no matter the expensive chairs you put there, no matter the expensive fittings you put there, the aesthetics you put there, whether you like it or not, before you know it, if the foundation is faulty, you soon begin to notice cracks. You soon begin to notice a lot of things go wrong in the house because the foundation is faulty. So until you strengthen the foundation, until you inspect what the foundation, let's say integrity is, you cannot guarantee that house staying long. You cannot guarantee that house going without a collapse. That is how it is with our bodies. If you don't consider the part of nutrition, you can't move without a breakdown. You can't move successfully even in the life of your child. Your child can't just go without a regress. That's why you notice sometimes some children just plateau, some regress. It will be as if they were doing well. All of a sudden, they just started reversing things they could do. They were no longer doing it, or things they knew, they were no longer saying it, and all that. Whether it's a speech, academics, you know that this child was already blend. He could blend 2 letters, 3 letters. All of a sudden, he's no longer doing that. If you ask, the child is not able to do all those again because something is missing. Something is missing. So that is why today we're giving an audit, because many parents are searching for the next superfood, the next supplement, the next miracle solution. They're looking for, sometimes the greatest improvements come from strengthening the foundation. Sometimes the greatest improvement comes from just paying attention to your foundation, paying attention to nutrition. It's not in the miracle supplement, it's not in the miracle therapy, it is not in one superfood, or what is that thing that we just take. I've heard that severally. What is that thing I will just take that will just make this child to be all right? I wish it was that simple to say. I wish it was just that easy. You don't get these things by one great miracle food, one great supplement, one transformational things. No, that's why we talked about habit. It's in daily habit, it's in daily transformation, is what you do daily. It is not just in what you do once in a while. So, but to identify where these gaps are, we need to pay attention to the nutrition, because today we are not going to be judging you. It's not to, we're not judging ourselves for anything. We are not comparing ourselves to other parents. We are just here to identify those gaps. So remember, a gap is not a failure. A gap is simply an opportunity to improve. A gap is not a failure. A gap is just an opportunity to improve, because we are talking about nutrition audit. We said knowing the gaps that could be holding your child back. So the gaps are things for you to look at. Like I was saying, even while teaching, I realized, okay, I need to straighten this part. This part, I can't really score myself that, oh, I can go to sleep. Though, as humans, there is no day that you will stop improving. The day you stop improving, that day you start dying. There is always something to improve upon as human. That's how God has made it. That's why I said the part of the joy is like a shining light that shine brighter and brighter to the perfect day. We shine brighter and brighter. There's something to do today. Tomorrow you improve on it. No matter what you are doing, if you are doing something, probably you are exercising for 10 minutes today. Tomorrow you have need to improve to 15 minutes. You will have need to increase it to 30 minutes. You keep going. You find out that some people that do squatting, you can squat maybe 20 squats at a go from the beginning. As time goes on, you realize that you can do 50 squats, not stretch, not stop. You now realize that you cannot do 100, you cannot do 50, 500. Skipping the same thing. I remember when I used to skip. I moved from just skipping for, let's say, 20 to 30, 50. At the time, I was doing over 1,000 skips a day. I could skip for 1,200, 1,500 skips a day. Meanwhile, I did not start that way. I started with 20, 50, 100. Stop. 500. There was a time I just stayed on 500. Let me just complete 500 skips a day. Before that, I moved to 1,000. Come on, is it not showing? I'm losing that weight, I've lost so much, and it has been interesting. And most times, making it a habit is much more transformational than just making it a one-time thing. That's how it is generally with our life. That's how it is generally with our children on the spectrum. Making it daily, consistently, not one random thing to do. No. So I want to ask one question. Does your child receive balanced nutrition consistently, or do they just eat simply enough? So those are the things we are auditing today. Do they eat balanced meal consistently, or they're just eating simply enough? Another question you should realize that your child, because one thing you should realize, a child might not be eating badly, might be eating up to even 4 times a day. A child might be eating to just feel full, yet the nutrients is lacking because it's not balanced. Our goal is not just to fill our stomach. Our goal is to nourish our body. So you have to realize that every day, ask yourself this question: is my child eating and getting the nutrients, or is just feeling full? Also ask yourself, is my child hydrated today, or is dehydrated? Third question, is my child having enough sleep? Because we shared all this recently. Fourthly, ask, is it getting all the balanced diet? Is it getting all the nutrients, the vitamins and minerals that is needed for a total brain transformation, a total health, or is just filling his stomach or her stomach? There's another gap we should check, is the variety gap. Variety gap, because the second audit we need is that variety gap. Not just now what we are eating, but variety gap, because your child, okay, think for a moment. If your child eats bread every morning, eats noodles every afternoon, and eats rice every evening, day after day, week after week, what happens? What happens? The body receives many of the same nutrients. Noodles, rice, bread, they are still in the same class. So here we preach variety, and this is what we teach in the Pusita Parents Tribe. We give them good meal plan. We show them what to give their child. We follow, those people there that are enjoying. That's just the truth. If you are not there, you are the only one that is left out, as it is right now. Because the slots are almost filled up. Because I cannot take more than those that I can really accommodate. So it's very interesting knowing that this is what you get. Accountability, we teach them. Because people don't know that they're just still eating the same class of food. All they know is that they're just giving their children food every day. It's not about eating. What are you really feeding the child? So don't know how to read all this. Another thing too is this confusion in even the labels. They come with different names. So it takes nutritionists. I'm a biochemist. So this is what I know. This is my feed. It takes someone that knows this to know that this is a trigger. This is not. This one is just leave. Because there was one day we talked about sugar being clever. Sugar is now clever, very, very clever. So there are some things that is still sugar. There are some things that is still bad. Preservatives, additives. Yet they just beautify the name. They just paint it and make it look presentable. You are still eating it without knowing that you are still taking something that is bad. So that's why I'm making an example with this. So by the time you have eaten this, Then you now say, I know I will still swallow. You now swallow. What are you swallowing? You are swallowing gari. You are eating the same class of food, though the soup you are using to take it might have some other nutrients in it. The stew, depending on the stew, some of them is still just the regular stew they still use, or sauce they use to take it. So all these other things are not added. See, when it comes to nutrition, variety matters most. Variety. Eat all kinds of food. Eat varieties of nutrients. Don't focus on only one, because you need all of them to thrive. That is why most times some parents remove. Have you noticed? Some people, parents remove gluten, remove dairy from their children's diet, yet the child does not get better. Because it's not about just taking out everything. What are you putting in? In a week, the child should be able to take many food, not just a class of food or two classes of food. No. So find out what you are giving that child on a daily basis than what the how many times the child is eating. That matters too, because you can't just feed your child once a day, of course. But more than that is, what are you feeding the child? So the variety gap, because one of the easiest way to limit nutrition without realizing it is serving the same food every day. It's one of the major ways to limit nutrition. You just think the child is eating, is just growing tall. It's growing, but the immune system will be weak, because many, okay, think for a moment. Think for a moment that today is Tuesday, probably. You ate bread in the morning. In the afternoon, you took yam. In the evening, you took gari. The next day, Wednesday, you took bread in the morning. In the afternoon, you took rice. Evening, you took fufu. The other day, third day, you come back, you took noodles in the morning. Afternoon, you took rice again. In the evening, you took spaghetti. You are just moving around what the Bible calls Kadesh Banan, round in circles, moving around, not making progress when it comes to your health, not making progress when it comes. So the body receives many of the same nutrients repeatedly, while other nutrients may be limited. So nature never created one food to provide everything the body needs. Just take note of that. If I write that in the comment section, nature never created one food to provide everything the body needs. No, it's not one food that will provide it. No matter how super that food is, no matter how super that food is, oh, this food is very high in iron. This food is very high in folate. This food is very high in magnesium. Because we've talked about folate, we've talked about magnesium here, we've talked about zinc, we've talked about selenium, we've talked about copper, we've talked about different kinds of vitamins and minerals that is needed for the body, for the child to make steady and good progress. But even if you have one food that is just as if it has many of this and all that, but nature did not create the food to really just give you all. Nature did not create the food to give you all. All you should realize is that you need different kinds of food. That's how we have fruits. That's how we have vegetables. That's how we have grains, legumes, dairy. We have fish, eggs. We have meat, nuts, seeds. Name them. You should take them in varieties, not just one type. So each contributes something differently. All these that I've mentioned, they all have their contributions. They just all have what they contribute on a daily basis. Now, I know many children with special needs have sensory preferences. Some of them are picky eaters. I know that some are having feeding challenges. That isn't about, it's not about forcing them to eat everything. It's about asking, how can I gradually increase the variety of food, the variety of nutrient in my child's plate? That's what you should ask. How can I gradually increase the variety in my child's diet over time? It's not just a one-day thing. Ask over time. So even one new accepted food every week is progress. That is transformation already. If that child keep accepting one new food every week, that means in the whole of the year, you would have gotten like 52 new foods. So 52 new foods, that's an amazing transformation. So it keeps making progress on a daily basis. So variety isn't built in one day. It's built one food at a time. It's not a one-day thing. So another gap is the protein gap. That's the third gap we're talking about, because we've talked about all this, but we're trying to pay attention to the gaps, because this is one of the gaps that is overlooked, the protein gap. Protein is important because it supports growth. Protein is important because it supports tissue repair. It supports the muscles. It supports the normal body functions. But when I look at many children's meal, I notice something. The plate may be full, but where is the protein? The plate might just be full. I need to ask, where is the protein? Sometimes breakfast is one cereal, and probably they just put milk. Nothing else is added to it. Lunch is only pasta. Dinner may be just starch with very little protein. As parents, begin to ask one simple question whenever you prepare a meal. Where is the protein? Please, I'm going to be asking people, even in the community, where is the protein? Ask, where is the protein? Not just because every meal must be perfect, but ask, where is the protein? Because over the course of the day, we want our children to have regular opportunities to eat protein-rich foods that they tolerate and enjoy. So you need to find out, where is the protein? Ask. Make sure that every meal has protein in it. Do not leave that at all. Then the fourth gap is the rainbow gap. I call this the rainbow gap. That is what I named it. You won't get it anywhere. If you got it anywhere, you got it from me. The rainbow gap. If you ask yourself as the child is eating, what is this child eating? Is it the rainbow, or is just eating one color? Ask yourself, is this child eating the rainbow, or is just eating one color? If I ask you to describe your child's plate using colors instead of names, what would you say? Will you say white? Will you say brown? Will you say beige? Will you say yellow? Will you say green? What will you say if I ask you to, or you just say orange, purple? Different colored fruits and vegetables contribute different nutrients and plant compounds. Different colored fruits and vegetables add different nutrients and plant compounds. The goal isn't to create a perfect rainbow every day. Don't think if you want to give your child food, the rainbow must be complete. You just make sure that all the 7 colors of the rainbow is there. No, but you should make sure that over the course of the week, that child should be taken adequately, severally, on a daily basis. It might not be all, but most of them. That will bring that great shift you require. So the goal is to eat a great amount of it. Make color a normal part of your eating. Just let your plate be very fine. Let it just be beautiful with different colors of food. So maybe today you accept carrots, or watermelon. The next day is strawberries. Later on, maybe cucumber, mango. Just be adding different colors. Just be adding different colors. Make sure that it is rich, it is full. So every new color is another step towards greater dietary variety. So the meal pattern gap, that is the 5th one. Meal pattern gap. Now let's talk about when your child eats. We always say this. Most times it's not about just what they eat. When. Routine, system is very, very crucial. Many parents focus on only what their child eats, but meal pattern matters too. Some children snack from morning till night. By lunchtime, they are no longer hungry. At dinner, they refuse to eat. Then an hour later, they are asking for snacks again. What has happened? Their appetite has been interrupted throughout the day. Children often do well with predictable meal. Routine is very important. They do well with predictable snack routine because it helps them recognize hunger and fullness clues. That's why you see so many of them on the spectrum. If you are feeding them lunch every day by 1, once is 1 or few minutes to 1, they are set to eat because their body now programs and is positioned to eat at that time. So if you keep making it, today is 1, tomorrow is 2, 3 days time is 3, or 12 noon, it interrupts their feeding pattern and it will not help them. So this doesn't make that you should just work in a very robotic way, or you need to be very rigid with your routines or something, because life happens. A lot of things will certainly transpire that will make that child not to be able to eat at that point that he's supposed to eat. But as much as possible, make sure that the child eats at a planned time, because they do well with predictable meals. They do well with predictable meal time. They do well with predictable snack routine time. So don't just focus on giving them food anyhow and anywhere. Please put a system to it. Try as much as possible, even as we are running up this month. Put a system to it. Another gap, number 6, is the hydration gap. We talked about hydration. So think of this. Water is one of the most forgettable nutrients. Water, highly refreshing. It will show on your skin. It will show on your brain function. It will show on your energy level. It will show on your bowel movement. Water. When you think about nutrition, most people just think only about food. But hydration supports that food. Hydration supports digestion. Hydration supports temperature regulation. Hydration supports normal body functions. We are made 70 to 75% of water. So hydration supports normal body function. That's why somebody can survive without eating, but can't survive without drinking water. Not really like just live his or our entire life without eating anyways, at least for as a measurable time. You can survive without eating for 21 days. You can survive without eating for 40 days. But you can't survive without drinking water for that 40 days. If you stay without drinking water for that 40 days, a lot of things might be going on in the inside. It might look still all right on the outside. That if you are even looking all right. A lot of things might still go wrong. So you need to pay attention to hydration. You need to pay attention to what you are giving your child. Not just the food. Are you giving enough water? You need to ask that. So audit that today, because today is our audit day. Audit that. Is the child taking enough water? Because some children drink plenty of fizzy drinks, carbonated sodas, and everything. But water, they are not taking enough. So some hardly drink water at all. Some just fill up on sweet drinks. Some rely on only milk. So audit, as we are auditing, ask yourself, is my child getting enough water throughout the day, not just drinking? Hydration is simple, but it is very powerful. Life, we think sometimes is when it's complex. It is in the simplicity of things. Water is very crucial. So number 7 is the gut-head gap. I always talk about gut-head. The gut-head gap. The gut plays an important role in digestion and nutrient absorption. So one question I always ask, and I always encourage parents to ask themselves, is, how is my child's digestion? How is my child's digestion? It is very important, because your child's digestion is also telling you about their general well-being. Does your child struggle with constipation, frequent diarrhea, frequent bloating, painful bowel movements? These are topics we cannot ignore. These are topics we cannot ignore. So if these issues continue, they deserve discussion with your healthcare professional. If you're having constant and it's not moving, you need to pay attention to them. Because sometimes improving hydration, fiber intake, activity or meal pattern can help in most of all these things. It can just help you fix it. But if it's not chronic and it's not, then you need to see a professional. You need professional guidance in it. But every child is different, and persistent symptoms may need proper assessment. Because when it's not persistent and it's not consistent, you have done all this and you have not seen the results you need, then you need to seek a professional's advice. Then number 8 is the observation gap. I told you people are detectives. You need to have a journal. The greatest nutrition experts are excellent observers. You need to be observing. I started paying attention to this. I observe my child regularly. I'm watching after every meal. What's the energy level like? What's the concentration level like? There are some food children eat, they are just laughing, like they are enjoying themselves. There are some that still just have low energy. Some they will be hyperactive. Some of them they will be aggressive, having mental. Just pay attention, observe. Don't just notice what a child eats. You need to notice pattern. Excellent observers. That's what we should be. Which food are accepted by this child? No. There's some food you give and children have rashes all over their body. There's some food you give, they have eczema flakes. You have to observe what food is causing this confusion in the child's body. What food are they refusing? What foods improve appetite for them? What food really does make that appetite to reduce? You need to realize that the food you give them, they just eat more and drop it. What foods do they usually refuse? What happens after? So observation helps us to make better decisions instead of just guessing. So your child is constantly giving you an information you need to pay attention to. The question is, are you noticing that patterns? It's giving you information, but are you noticing that patterns? So you need to pay attention to what your child is eating, because this is very crucial. And that is why we're also telling you, you need an accountability system where you can always check in and ask, how is this like and how is this like? So it's important to pay attention to this. Pay attention also to the sleep gap, which is number 8. The sleep gap. How many hours is my child sleeping on a daily basis? And how well? You need to sleep very well, not just sleep and the child is constantly waking up and all that. That's not a restful sleep. Sleep well. The child could sleep for 9 to 10 hours. The child will have a very restful and, good sleep. Meanwhile, another child might sleep for even 13 hours, 14 hours, and it's not a sound sleep. So pay attention to the sleep gap. Is this child sleeping well? Because a child that have slept well will naturally perform well the next day. That's why you see most times some behavioral things, changes you see the next day started the night before. The issues you are seeing today might have started yesterday night, might have started that night before the dawn. That you are not seeing all those meltdowns, tantrums, aggression, and everything. Probably the child didn't sleep well. If as an adult, if you don't sleep well for 1 day, 2 days, by the time you are getting up to 3, 4 days, it will start showing. You won't be as productive as you are supposed to be. As an adult, you won't forget things. So you need to really realize that sleep is very crucial. Sleep is very important. And so we'll be rounding off today. So if you've not registered for our Pacesetter Parents Tribe, this is a good time to do that. This is a good time to do that because you cannot get it better anywhere else. You will see steady progress. I'm so excited with the reviews I've gotten this month. I'm so excited. Even as we are teaching this, those in the Pacesetter Parents Tribe, they will understand better because they have it broken down for them. They understand better, they're applying better, and they're seeing more results. That's the difference. The general words, we just get it, tips here, we explain all this. But in this, when you come to the Pacesetter Parents Tribe, you get it more explained, you get the details of it, you juice it out and give you the real food. So join us. We're starting 1st of September 2026. Or is it 1 year? You will not even know. You will not even know that you paid anything because the transformation you'll be getting, it would have expired in 1 month. What you paid would have expired. It would be like, I paid all this. What you'll be getting in 1 month, you would have felt that your money is exhausted. And what you will have to lose anyways? Why not shoot your shot? Just try it and see for yourself if your child will remain the same. So if you've not invited others on this daily life we'll be doing beyond the diagnosis, please invite those that you know, your loved ones, your friends, your neighbors, your village people. Tell them something is going on here. We'll still see tomorrow. They will be coming with a different topic. Nutrition is the foundation. That's why we started with it. It's the foundation is important, but it's not all that there is to transformation when it comes to raising a child with special needs, when it comes to raising a child on the spectrum. So you need to balance it up, learn other things that are vital. So we'll be coming with another topic tomorrow. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to our channel. Turn on the notification. It will make you receive good information, videos of when we come live. You will see all this and you'll be glad you did. Thank you so much for your time. I'm glad you joined us, and see you next time. Thank you and God bless you.